Hi, this is Lee from the Law School Toolbox. Today we are discussing a week in the life of a successful 1L, what you actually do hour by hour preparing for class and life. We'd like to take a moment to thank Juno for sponsoring this podcast. Do you have student loans or are you considering taking them out? Juno can help you understand your options and access more competitive rates. Juno works by collective bargaining, negotiating as a group with lenders to secure lower private student loan rates than students typically get on their own. This can mean real upfront savings because loan interest is no joke. Take it from someone who spent years paying off law school loans. To learn more about Juno, visit joinjuno.com and check out our previous podcast episode, 521 with Juno's founder, linked to in our show notes. This is definitely worth a listen. Today, we're going to talk about what a successful 1L week actually looks like, hour by hour, not the fantasy version where you're perfectly productive every second, not the nightmare version where you're drowning in casebooks and crying in the library. I mean, it happens to all of us sometimes. The real version where you treat law school like a job and actually have a bit of a life. So let's just dive in with the math you need to know, because I think this helps frame everything. So here's the reality. You'll likely have 14 plus hours of class per week, plus 14 plus hours of reading, depending on your course load. That's roughly 28 to 30 hours right there. And we haven't even talked about reviewing notes, outlining, or practicing for exams. But here's the thing. This is totally doable if you're strategic with your time. So for today's episode, I want you to imagine we're following Sam, a 1L who wants to treat law school like a job, working mostly daytime hours. She likes to run for stress relief. I mean, I don't personally, but some people really do like to run. She doesn't have kids, no major outside responsibilities, just law school and trying to figure out how to make it all work. We'll talk about what to do if your life is more complicated toward the end, but I think most of our listeners may fall into this category. Okay, so let's start with the understanding of your week as a whole. Most 1Ls have classes Monday through Friday, usually 2 to 3 classes per day. So you might have contracts at 9 a.m., torts at 11 a.m., and civil procedure at 2 p.m. Each class is typically an hour to an hour and a half, or sometimes even longer. You might have legal research and writing once a week for a longer block or a shorter block. Pretty straightforward so far, right? Now, here's where we need to have a real talk about the reading. Let's dispel a misconception right now. You are not too slow of a reader to read cases simply because it takes you hours, sometimes 2 to 3 hours to read one case. I know that sounds wild. In fact, 10 pages per hour is a pretty quick pace at which to be reading cases, especially when you first start. So do not be surprised if at first it takes you a lot of time to read those cases. So think about this. If you have 2 classes per day and 2 to 3 cases per class, that's over 6 hours of reading if you read quickly. The hard truth is that doing all of your reading for class may be painfully time-consuming at first, but it will get easier. It really will. So how do you structure your week? You need to think about pockets of time. What are you going to allocate where? Morning reading blocks when your brain is fresh? Class time, which is obviously non-negotiable. Afternoon review and study time, evening overflow or personal time, weekend deep work sessions. This is where I want to talk about the treat it like a job principle. There was this Harvard Business School case study about a real estate broker named Ryan Serhant. Yes, from the TV show. And he talks about looking at the day as having a certain number of minutes. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. And you sleep about 480 minutes if you're getting 8 hours. So you have about 960 minutes left in the day outside of sleeping. He calls this the 1,000-minute rule. What I liked about this approach is that he's very intentional. He had blocked out time for his family and said, this is the time that is my family time. And he's very protective of it. And this is the time that I exercise and take care of my body. And he's very protective of it. And I think that can be helpful for law students. Block out time for studying and be very protective of it. Block out time for exercising and taking care of your body and be very protective of it. This doesn't mean every single minute is scheduled. But it does mean having a loose schedule of how you're going to do those things is going to make you feel more in control and allow you to get all the things done that you need to get done. All right, so let's do a deep dive into what one day might actually look like. We're going to walk through a Wednesday in Sam's life, hour by hour. So Sam wakes up at 7, makes coffee, very important to me, maybe scrolls through emails quickly, maybe doesn't check social media because she decided that social media is not a good use of her time. We'll talk about email management more in a minute. Eats a light breakfast, gets dressed. You do not need to wake up at 4:30 a.m. like some productivity guru, just enough time to do what you need to do to feel human. So 8 a.m. starts morning reading block number 1. Sam heads to the library or to a coffee shop. She tackles the hardest reading first, maybe those 2 torts cases for tomorrow's class. She's using active reading, following along with a pencil and making margin notes, book briefing or highlighting key parts, the issue, the rule, the holding, the reasoning. So this is deep work time. Her phone is on Do Not Disturb. And here's the critical part. There's no time for passively scanning your eyes over words on a page in law school. If you find yourself reading sentences without really understanding or processing the words you read, stop immediately and regroup. Make every minute you spend reading a case count by actively engaging with the material as you read it. Now, 9:30 a.m., quick break, 10 to 15 minutes. Stand up, grab water, check messages, get a snack. This is important. You just can't power through without breaks. And for some students, you may need more breaks than just once every 90 minutes. You may need to take breaks every 20 to 30 minutes, and that's okay. You just need to schedule it and take mini breaks to let your brain refresh. All right, so let's move on. Now it's 9:45. We're into morning reading block number 2. She finishes her torts reading and starts on contracts reading for the next day. Again, actively engaging, not just letting her eyes drift over the page. Then she's got to get her stuff together to go to contracts at 11 a.m. She goes to class, she participates, she takes notes, she's not on her phone, she's not messing around on the internet, she's present during class time. Then class is only an hour today, so at noon we take a lunch break. Actually taking a break. Maybe you meet up with a friend from your section. You don't feel guilty about it. You need to eat and recharge. If you're spending time with family and friends, put down your phone. Don't feel guilty about the break. Lean in, invest. All right, so after lunch, it's 1 o'clock when she jumps back into civil procedure class. And this is another class with more note-taking, more participating, no internet or chatting. Then around 2:15, class is over and she moves into review and process. So here's where a lot of students mess up. They skip this step. Sam spends 30 to 45 minutes reviewing notes from both classes that day. She adds key points to her outline or course document. She identifies any questions to ask the professor or study group and makes sure she has captured what happened in class. So remember, you want to shape these raw materials into a useful framework as soon as possible. Most law students feel like there is more work than they can possibly do in a given day between reading, class, writing assignments, for legal writing, you name it. The first thing to go when they get overwhelmed is the deep work required to review the material from class and make sure they understand it. But this is a serious mistake. All right, now it's about 3 o'clock and it's time to move on to afternoon reading or outlining depending on the workload. So option 1 is to finish any remaining reading for the next day. And option 2, if your reading is done, work on building or refining outlines. Or option 3, do practice problems if it's closer to exam time. So this is when you need to be honest with yourself about tracking your time. How many hours are you actually studying? Not counting library time as study time when you might be doing who knows what in the library. I mean, look around you. There are a lot of people doing non-study things in the library. Then comes 4:30 p.m. Now it's time to take a physical break. Sam goes for her run or hits the gym or does yoga. That's what I like to do. Or play tennis. That's also what I like to do. Whatever works. This is non-negotiable time for taking care of her body. You do your best work when you're healthy and happy, even if there is some stress mixed in there as well. All right, she's back from her run at about 5:30. She has dinner and decompresses. She makes some food, she eats, and she actually relaxes. This is real downtime, not work disguised as a break. And if she's had a productive day at 7 o'clock, she can have true evening downtime. Here's the thing, downtime should just be downtime. Call a friend or family member and actually talk to them. Watch your favorite show. Don't feel guilty about it. Read a book that has nothing to do with law school. Play a video game, go to the movies, whatever helps you recharge. The key is being present in whatever you choose to do, not half watching TV while also trying to review flashcards. That's not relaxing and you're not learning anything. But let's say you didn't have a productive day and you need to catch up on some things. Well, 7 o'clock, this block may be when you get that work done. Perhaps you need to finish organizing your notes after class or do some support work for the club that you're a president of. Whatever it might be, this might be the time to spend on those things. And then you can still have a little downtime before bed. So by 9 o'clock, you should start winding down for bed. I mean, maybe you review something quickly if you want, since some studies show what you review right before sleeping could stay in your mind. But also prep your bag for tomorrow, check your calendar, make sure you know what's on deck for the next day. And by 10 to 10:30 bedtime, that means actually getting sleep, not pulling all-nighters, and at this point, showing up rested and relaxed is more important than the final hour of study. Okay, so again, this is somebody who likes to get up in the morning, work all day, go to bed at 10:30 at night. Now, your schedule may look a little bit different, and that is okay. I want you to just keep in mind these blocks of time and how you build productivity through the day. All right, so we've walked through what a day might look like, but now let's talk about what's actually derailing your study time. Because here's what happens. You sit down to read for an hour, but you're only actually reading for 30 minutes. Let's start with social media. I've already mentioned it. It is really the silent study killer. Did I really want to give Instagram an hour or 2 hours of my day? The problem is it doesn't feel like an hour. You scroll and scroll and scroll, and then it's suddenly 12:30 at night. If you love spending multiple hours on social media, you do you. But if you don't have enough time to get all of your work done, that is something to seriously look at. You can check your screen time on your phone and decide how many hours of your day you are willing to give to Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok, whatever is your social media of choice. So what could be a solution? Well, you can pre-schedule during weekdays that there are certain hours when you do not get any notifications. You don't even have to choose on a daily basis to shut it off. You can just say, don't notify me, phone, from these hours unless it's this one person. If your mother calls, you can get that or whatever. But everything else, shut it off. And this can be all preset. You can also delete apps from your phone during study sessions if you feel like you need to. Now, there are also internet rabbit holes. You're reading about negligence, so you Google or you put into AI famous negligence cases, and then you're reading about the McDonald's coffee case, and then you're on Wikipedia reading about tort reform, and now it's 45 minutes later, or you're reading AI summaries of all this stuff. If you need to look something up, write it down and batch your research time later. So interruptions and multitasking are huge issues too. Every time you switch tasks or get interrupted, it takes your brain time to get back into focus. Text messages popping up, email notifications, someone stopping by to chat. We really can't multitask. I wish we could, but we really can't. So close your email when you're reading, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, or even in another room, or turn it off. If you're doing a workout, don't also try to read outlines or something. A lot of people say that. It's like, oh, I was on the treadmill, but I was also reading outlines. You're probably not learning anything. And then you're not even enjoying the workout. You're not enjoying anything because we really can't multitask. So put on some music or a trashy TV show and enjoy your workout time. So I have a challenge for you. Just for a few days, write down how you spend your time. This can give you such a window into being thoughtful about how you want to be spending your one truly wild and precious life. Track what you're actually doing, not what you think you're doing. When students do this, they're often shocked at where their time goes. Let me give you some quick tactical tools that can help manage your time. For email management, check email 2 to 3 times a day max, morning, midday, and evening. Delete, unsubscribe, or archive anything that you don't need. And if it takes under 2 minutes, perhaps you should just handle it immediately. Otherwise, add it to your to-do list and use filters and folders to stay organized. You should also have a to-do list system and stick with it. Some of our favorites are Todoist, Trello, Asana, or even just a Google Doc or an Apple Note. The system doesn't matter as much as using it consistently. I also think it's very important to put everything in your calendar: classes, study blocks, exercise, even social time. color code it if that helps, and set reminders for important things. And now here's where we need to talk about AI and how that fits into your schedule. Now, AI can be helpful for things like outlining strategies, generating practice questions, explaining confusing concepts, and organizing your notes. But AI can be a time waster when you use it as a crutch instead of reading your cases yourself, or when you spend hours prompting it to help you with your briefs, which may or may not be against the honor code, or when you fall down the rabbit hole of, just let me ask it one more thing. So here's the rule. AI should make you more efficient, not replace the work of learning. So use it strategically, maybe to create a study schedule, to quiz yourself on material, or to get a second explanation of a tricky concept. But never use it to avoid reading the actual cases or doing the actual thinking. And track your time when using AI tools. Are they actually saving you time, or are you just procrastinating in a fancy way? Oh, and one more practical point. Back up everything. Make sure you use Dropbox or something similar. Set it up and forget it, but your backup plan needs to be part of your time management plan. If you lose work, it is going to be one of the biggest time wasters ever. Now, I want to talk about something really important. Not everyone can sit and focus for 90-minute blocks, and that's completely okay. If you have ADHD or other learning differences, you might only be able to focus for 20-minute blocks. And if that's you, work with your brain, not against it. Set up a timer for 20 minutes, do focused work, and then take a 5-minute break. During that break, stand up, walk around, get water, actually move your body, and then set another 20-minute timer to do it again. This is called the Pomodoro technique, and it works really well for a lot of students. You might need to do 6 20-minute blocks to get through 2 hours of reading, but that's totally fine. The key is making those 20 minutes count. No phone, no distractions, just pure focus. You might actually be more efficient than someone who studies for 90 minutes, but is really only focused for half of it. And if you have documented learning differences, use your accommodations. Extended time on exams, note-taking services, whatever you're entitled to, use them. That is what they are there for. And experiment and adjust. What works for Sam might not work for you, and that's fine. Some people need music playing. Some need total silence. Some people need to read cases out loud for a paragraph or two to stay engaged. Pay attention to when you're most focused and structure your hardest work for those times. The goal is finding out what makes you most effective, not copying someone else's system. Now let me quickly address what to do if your life is more complicated than Sam's. If you work while in law school, the same principles apply. You just compress your schedule. You might do reading early in the morning, like 6 to 8 a.m. before work. Evenings and weekends become your main study time. Be even more protective of your study blocks. Consider online resources to speed up comprehension when you're time crunched. If you have kids or family responsibilities, coordinate with your partner or support system to carve out specific study hours. Early mornings or late evenings might be your deep work time. Use every pocket of time efficiently. Reading on your commute, reviewing flashcards during lunch. Give yourself grace. You're juggling a lot, but make sure you put down that phone and focus if you're actually doing studying. And if you're a night owl, this schedule can flip. If you do your best work at 10 p.m., just structure accordingly. Just make sure you're getting to class and getting enough sleep. So let me give you the key takeaways. Treating law school like a job means being intentional about your time. You have roughly 960 minutes outside of sleeping. What are the pockets of time you're going to allocate? Build in breaks, build in exercise or movement, build in real downtime and fun. Make every minute of study time count by actively engaging. Protect yourself from time wasters like social media, interruptions, and multitasking. They are your enemies. Use AI tools strategically, but not as a crutch. If you can only focus for 20 minutes at a time, just work with that. It's completely fine. So remember my challenge, track your time for a week. Just writing down how you spend your time can give you such a window into being thoughtful about how you want to spend it. And here's the reality check. Law school is a marathon, not a sprint. Some weeks will go perfectly, some weeks will be chaos. That's just normal. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency and it's sustainability. If everything is taking too long, then something's wrong with the plan and you need to adjust it. You're not going to nail this immediately, and that's okay. Give yourself time to find your rhythm, but having a structure, even a loose one, is going to make law school so much more manageable. Now, take my challenge. Go map out your week, track it, and see what works for you. Thanks again to Juno for supporting this podcast. If you're thinking about student loans for law school, head to joinjuno.com to explore your options and see how Juno can help you find a better rate. If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give us a like and leave us a comment, and be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via the contact form on lawschooltoolbox.com.